So the latest Star Wars movie is coming out, and I decided to do something that has been on my bucket list for years. That is jumping into a hype train! Mostly because I'm sick and tired of being 20 years too late for every single gigantic moment in pop culture. Now, this is going to be in multiple parts, and in this first part, I'm going to talk about my own personal history with Star Wars. So, if you're not interested in that and want to hear my thoughts about the previous movies and even the up and coming Star Wars trilogy, then you can just skip off this part. My history with the Star Wars started when I was 5. I got a VHS tape of The New Hope and I watched it with my dad. And that's how I became a Star Wars fan. For the longest time, that very same VHS copy of Episode 4 was the only Star Wars movie I saw. My local library only had the said VHS tape. My parents didn't own any of the sequels, and renting a movie in Finland has always been something of a hassle. Mostly because way back when the cost was 40 marks a day. Well, you could pretty much go and buy a brand new VHS copy for 40 marks. Same thing nowadays. The cost is like 20 euros a day, which is insane because that's pretty much how a brand new DVD costs. So, not to mention way back when my parents would only allow us to rent VHS tape like once a month. So I didn't see the sequels until I was like 7 and they showed them on TV. So my whole family got together and we saw them. And they were good. Then came the day. That one day. I was 10. It was a rainy Saturday day in December. My mom took me and my two sisters to see a movie in our local high school's gym. And that movie was Star Wars Episode 1. And Episode 1 was amazing. It made me an even bigger Star Wars fan than I already was. And I started to lend that said VHS copy from my local library at the start of my summer vacation. I did see the other prequel movies in the real movie theater, and that's how I became a super fan of Star Wars. I was playing the games, reading the books, and building the models, everything. If it had Star Wars on it, I was into it. And then finally came the day when the VHS copy of New Hope was gone from my local library. So on the following Saturday, when we went to Turku, I bought a DVD box set of Star Wars, the original trilogy. And I spent an entire Saturday watching that said box set. I did eventually got the prequel movies, and I was still loving them. Although I had to say that as I was watching them, I did see that something was a bit off. They were slightly different than the original movies, but the Phantom Menace wasn't the masterpiece I thought it was, but it was still good, so I didn't care. 10 years went by and we upgraded our modem connection to broadband connection. And thus I was able to spend days on the internet. So one of the first things that I ever did was Google Star Wars. And to my shock and horror, I read that people thought that the prequels were horrible. But that doesn't make any sense. If I liked them, how could they be horrible? And that was pretty much the reason why I didn't watch them for years. I was scared that I was wrong. Years went by and finally came the day when I went to Estonia to do some work training and I took my laptop and my entire Star Wars collection with me and I decided to find out once and for all